So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another scene for the living world of darkness. Rage across New York, where there is a 10 point who has done a thing at the Karen Hart, and she has waited patiently for photocopies, which are a new and marvelous thing for her. But all the same, she now has photocopies of notes in her bag, which are just what she always wanted. Um, and after seeing Jason off, making sure he went back to the apartment and maybe got some sleep, maybe just a little bit of sleep, we'll probably fire off a ping to get orientation and then end up ambling towards the lake.
She'll see Aiden dipping his hands in the water and washing his hands. He seems to be looking out, staring over the probably not as snow covered as they used to be, watching the spring grow essentially.
She just very mildly ambles down. It might be warm enough today for her to even be barefoot. And she, just meanders down to the lake edge. Finally, looking to just pull up a nice piece of rock or whatever have you at the lakeside alongside Mariah.
You'd look over his shoulder at her. 10 point.
Mariah?
Need you to do something for me.
Of course, Mariah.
The water wants a communication network established among the kin. So incidents like previous ones don't occur as frequently.
I have been trying to get a hold of a kinfetch, Ryan.
A kinfetch may be all well and good, but we need to create a solid communication between the kin themselves as well.
There's a blink. They have phones, Ryan.
Phones can only do so much. We need a solid network of communication, code words, everything like that. As well as anything spiritual.
I could work on Talons to warn of danger, but there are many, many kin. It would take many, many Talons to supply them all with one.
Which is why we're going to create a system. There's going to be code words. And if the kinfolk is believed to be in danger, then we're going to create maybe an alarm function in where they stay or the area that they stay that we can be on a beck and call to the area. But we need to establish communication lines between the kin themselves so we can then keep informed. So since you are one of the people who are working closely with the kin, I'm gonna need you to start getting ideas off the kin. They're probably the first people to start with.
I'll go speak to the council.
You tell them this is an initiative that I am conducting in order to better their safety, and any help would be appreciative, or any information they could give you would help me help them.
Of course, Ryan.
Just nods. This is something that we need, and we need it quickly.
Yes, Ryan.
Rub his face. This theurge, spiral, it's a concern.
It is.
We're going to need a more rigid defense system for ourselves if we're going to go up against him and rescuing this kid.
I imagine he may well have been at the forefront of feeding that Shadowbane.
More than likely. So I'm going to want you and the Theurges now to take all initiative. Nothing else. The kinfolk communication needs to be done, but this takes priority. I want every Theurge working on it. No exceptions. If they don't, you report them to me.
Of course, Ryan.
I want all hands on deck for this one, Demwad. They are to work tirelessly. English. They were to work endlessly. No breaks. We need every edge against this.
Do we... In the reports, was there mention of any Banes besides the Carnage? Well, the hybrid.
He'll ruffle through his pockets and take out a small little notepad, begin flicking through it. As this player loads up the wormful board. Where are we? Cammy's report. Scroll up, come on. Just to find it now, and my computer was instead of being such an ass. New start. From what Cammy found is that there's many stray blood beans in Manhattan.
Oh, blood beans. Of course.
This is in Manhattan now. From what the ping probably suggests on her pulse, it's probably going to be up in Staten. So they're going to have Umbo scouts there. So our best bet is to go through the Tellurian, I would imagine.
If we were doing anything in Staten, Raya, it's best to go through the Tellurian.
Like I said, that's why we're going to need every advantage we can get. Every edge. We're going to need it. I want every theurge on this. No matter what chimneys you have to pay, we need a victory. And we need to strike a blow against this thing. And we need to get this kinfolk back. In whatever condition she may be in.
Yes, right.
The longer he has her,
I know,
the
right?
weaker we look. So I want to strike hard, I want to strike fast, but I want to be organized when we're doing it.
Yes, right.
And you command them to a point. No more asking, no more politeness. This is an order. Do you understand me?
Yes, right.
Just nods quite firmly, again washing his hands in the lake. Still no answer to that. Still no answer.
Pardon, Raya?
Simon.
Did you expect one?
Not. Of course I did.
Simon rarely speaks up.
I insulted his honor. I showed his honor lacking in front of the entire sept. And yet the man did nothing. The man never swore. The man never did anything. It was almost as if the oath he swore in front of us meant nothing, as if Jessica's death meant nothing to him. And if he claimed so fervently to believe, he would have been up in my face.
He's taken on something of a vaguely distant, thoughtful look.
There's two things I want you to do. For this insult to myself, yourself, our pack, Jessica, and that kinfolk he's left out there are two things I want, 10 point.
Yes, right.
One, I want you to go to the kinfolk council. I've already had my people begin to invest. I want the idea of a prosecution brought against him for neglect, so he may never claim a kin again.
Of course, right.
I want it done swiftly, and I want it done mercilessly. And the second, he broke an oath. He broke an oath on a memory of a woman who nobly sacrificed herself. He insulted our tribe, our culture, our people. People who are built on oaths. People who are built on great deeds and honorment of those things. I want him to pay for it. I want the entire spirit world to know what he's done. And to shame him for it.
It's a more somber nod.
We are defined by the things we do, not by what we say.
We're defined as much by the things we fail to do.
Just stare at her. That's exactly what I mean.
She nods, having said, it was spoken in a tone of agreement.
We look over out at the lake. If that had been her, not a single spiral in Staten Island would have been able to stop me.
We would have mustered the guardians within the hour, Raya.
He professed to love this woman.
Eddie.
You were there. I asked it.
Shame it doesn't show.
Turns and looks over. Make sure that shame is there. The next time he decides to come out of the hovel and try and stand with his brothers and sisters.
Yes, Raya.
And tell Saoirse, when she's done wasting my time, to do her duty as a galliard and curse his name.
She again looks a little bit zoned out, a little bit thoughtful for a moment. Should we wait until after the assault, Raya? The warder might.
I want the spirit thing done before it.
Of course.
And I want the kinfolk at least aware of the idea in their heads. Once Magda is brought back, I want it done, those two things done before.
Of course. And then don't leave it all.
And if that girl dies or is dead, I want you to up it to make sure that the kin have him punished.
I'll do the best I'm able, Raya.
Motivate them. Stoke their passion. Do what any Fianna would do.
Yes, Raya.
He'll kneel down and take his hands in the water again.
Raya, do we have a picture, don't we? Of the Theurge.
Yes.
I need it.
He'll hand it over.
And she'll snag it, take a moment to look at it, and then tucks it into her swag.
There you go, I sent it on PMs.
She seems to mean to keep hold of it, at least for the moment. I'll give it back once I'm done.
I don't need it.
Easier then to use the picture itself.
Nod.
His luck will fail him when he needs it most.
Like I said, I want every Theurge on this. And anyone who gives you disrespect, you report them to me immediately and I'll punish them. Myself.
Yes, Raya.
You tell them the Wormfoes ordered are no exceptions. We are preparing for war and a raid. I want everyone working.
Of course, Raya. I have to think.
Next question is, if our ally is displaying a person in Haranu in their pack, what does that say about us?
You're not displaying, Raya. We
It's
know.
it's there, and if we know, the rest of the Sept knows.
We've been told. The rest of the Sept is not.
It'll come out eventually. And when it does, Colin's position as Alpha will be questioned.
I don't think his position will be questioned, Raya, but what he will do about it will be. She's no guardian, she's no keeper. There's no one beholden to her duties, so does
It
fall by the wayside.
doesn't matter. To many others, he allowed this to happen, whether he intended to or not.
It does not allow Harano, Raya.
One allows it to fester in and linger. And it builds and builds and builds.
It's a nasty habit of spreading.
It does, which is why I'm concerned that she is full blazingly probably abusing that link, and Helena, being the girl that she is trying to mend the pieces together.
She is.
Perhaps it's a change in trajectory for Helena then. Instead of trying to mend the pieces, she needs to learn to let Kailani herself mend them. She's a Fianna.
Kailani cannot mend them without acting.
Well, then we need to give her the will to act.
Perhaps require her to go on the raid. Perhaps she will find something to stir her heart. And if she does not, she goes well.
If she does not, she'll die. Not through my hand. Through herself.
If she does not, then she falls in battle and goes to the homelands. It's the best that someone in her state can ask for.
Do we know the root? Do we know the root and cause of this, Harano?
No, Raya.
Find it out.
Yes, Raya.
I want to know why.
See if I can find her.
I have a feeling it's due to Felix. But then it makes everything she told me a lie.
Brown knits. Felix passed long before this.
What could have driven her into Arana then? Was it the Stargazers leaving?
Perhaps.
Find out.
Yes, Raya.
And don't hold back on it if you have to say what you have to say, Harana or no.
It is not as though she can sink any lower.
Tell her the truth.
Yes, Raya.
Again, rub his hands through the water of the lake. Jason. I suppose he'd be angry with me.
But she finally takes a moment and sits and sighs on. You'll learn.
He'll have to. It's all very well saying how much tradition doesn't matter, but yet he was in the army and he was understanding of this. It seems like a convenient excuse to hide from his responsibilities.
He's not balked from his responsibilities, Raya.
It's a dangerous habit, one that William White would like to abuse fragrantly.
Have you spoken to him about it?
No. He seems to be avoiding me.
Would you like me to do this as well?
If you deem it that you want to.
I've always been willing to explain myself.
If you want to explain your understanding, and for him to try and understand, then I won't stop you.
It's a surprisingly soft little smile. Of course not. Why would you?
Just nods, runs his hands along the water again, staring out the spring leaves starting to develop and the plants starting to grow.
Little green shoots everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the trees are even stubbornly trying to blossom, for all that the cold snaps keep trying to kill off all of the buds.
This new Ragabash, what do you make of her?
Well, she is very vocal, right?
She's Noctenna, isn't she?
I believe so. If I recall the
Nod,
Hall of Introduction.
nods to himself slowly.
I have not set eyes on her nor spoken to her yet.
She seems to be aiming for solidarity.
There's a soft and kind of teasing little echo of a smile.
Look over
She'll
and
finally,
raise his eyebrow at her.
she'll finally be reaching a hand down, just kind of touching the surface of the water with a couple fingertips. And why don't you greet her as a ragabash?
Hmm?
If her words as they travel are any indication, she is no stranger to mischief, Raya. And I think it's been a surprising amount of time since I have seen you be mischievous.
Might give her a deed name. She seems to be quite fond of giving me those. If she asks, invite her around. Be good to see a fellow new moon and chat. Good to make a new friend. Even if she is friends with the Glasswalker.
And she'll flick the surface of the water purely for the purpose of creating an outward spreading ripple. Perhaps she'd enjoy a good kidnapping, Raya. A side glance.
Look over and raise an eyebrow at her.
She seems to appreciate harmless gestures in the name of fun.
Hmm.
I would say it'd be quite a way to make a first impression.
When do you get jealous?
Should I?
I don't know at some point. Rub his hands through the water.
No.
She does seem to smile at me a lot whenever she sees me.
You're still my Raya.
I'll give her a deed name and set a fire there and see how she responds. We'll play her game for a bit and then I'll play mine.
She finally picks up her hand and flicks the very spare few droplets that fling to her fingertips at him.
I want you to pick a cub from the remainders left and I want you to work on them.
I have my hands full of Theurge cubs, Raya.
I want one specifically that you yourself work on and train. I want him by the end, or they or her by the end when they come to the rite of passage, to be competent.
If any of the Theurge cubs are incompetent by the time I'm done,
Like I said, I want one specific one that's not going to be Helena. I want one specific. I want you to encourage Jason and Jason to do the same.
You wish me to pick either Fatima or Garm, one over the other, rather than
Not
train both.
train both, but I want you to pay close attention to one, and then invest all your time in it. I want you to train them both equally, but I want you to pay particular attention of which one you think will need the most help, and help it. These cubs are going to need every inch we can.
Of course, Raya.
There's a war coming, 10 Point. And they'll need to be blooded quickly.
There's only one who will be loath to be blooded, I think.
They'll have to learn. They don't have time for anything else. Not anymore. I told you, and that's all I can tell you. There's a war coming.
She finally seems to shift gears faintly.
She can pee at him if she wants.
Oh, she will. Gonna do it. Gonna do it real good. As soon as I close this other scene. Whee! Where's my shit? What's my peony? It's numbers. Reasonably good. That's 3 successes.
You can tell by the grimness in his face that he's telling the truth. This is something you can tell is weighing heavily on his shoulders. It's perhaps why he is so harsh lately. It's why he seems to be pushing the Cubs a lot more. Why particularly he seems to be on top of Helena, pushing her. Even perhaps might explain some of the reactions last night. He's this, whatever this war, like he can't, obviously clearly you can read by the expression, he wants to tell you, but I think you get the impression he can't. Seems to be weighing on him quite heavily.
So there's a thoughtful look over. And while it's not generally a gesture she does lightly, she does, like, look him over and meet his gaze. Not obviously in challenge, but meets it all the same. And finally just reaches out a hand, looking to place it on his shoulder in a sign of solidarity.
He doesn't stop her, he just stares out at the lake, running his hands through the water.
We'll have it done, Raya.
Part of me is not ready for what's about to come. There's a part of me that's afraid of it. Part of me that's afraid of leadership.
You've always been a leader, Raya, whether you meant to or not.
Like I said, part of me is afraid of the sacrifices that I'll be asking people to make.
You'll be asking no more of the Sept than we do in any other battle, which is everything.
This is far different, 10 Point.
Is it?
It's not. For a lot of us, probably won't be coming back.
When she starts kind of weighing something, obviously kind of measuring words, thinking about them before letting them out of her mouth. This is why not everything that we've learned is on the board, Raya.
There are certain things that I'm not allowed to tell. I have to follow orders.
And I assume that those certain things are things that I may have heard elsewhere, but nonetheless do not make it onto your board.
Precisely. Rumors. Rumors that I know are very, very true. But I am under strict orders not to tell anyone. But war is coming.
Do we know the enemy?
We do.
And yet we cannot be warned of it.
We have to prepare.
How can we prepare without knowing what we fight, right?
Sometimes it's better to have hope. And sometimes it's better to not think of an encroaching doom. Sometimes it's better to believe that we can win, rather than the fear of something that we might not know.
Her lips firm into a line. Considering the things they've gone up against, this isn't especially promising as a line of logic.
It's his orders, and I'll follow them. But that doesn't mean I can't train these cubs to become killers, to become dark things when dark deeds are required.
I think the one who will need the most guidance is the Galliard. The two Theurges. I can have both ready.
Then make them ready. There's no more can anymore.
Oh, I will.
The Galliard will learn, and you will make her learn. We will have to make her learn. We will not do what bites the weak does and be cruel. Just honest. I want you and Jason to work on her together.
Her mouth kind of opens, and she pauses, letting him finish. I have purview over the Theurge cubs as the keeper of the land. I have no purview over a Galliard.
Doesn't matter. You're to invest knowledge in her, 10-point. That is my order. And if Bites the Weak has issue with that, then he can come and find me.
Yes, Ram.
Or he can go and talk to the warder. I'm sure the warder would be delighted to hear how he's denying training from the wormfoe.
I'm sure.
He runs his hands through the water again. But if we do succeed, this will be the chance that I've waited for my entire life.
How's that right?
Everyone will know my name. For I'll be in front of a king. And he will know what my name is.
He will. How could he not?
But for now, my own glories aside, we need these people ready for war.
And that poor hamster in her head is running pell-mell in that wheel, spinning, spinning, spinning. But there's only so much that she can produce so fast.
I want you to prepare Saoirse for working with the Striders. Yes, Simon may have messed up, but we will need Jacob Clay in terms of what's coming. I want you to make sure that she knows the program, and under my orders, she is not to misbehave. Am I understood?
She finally reaches up and starts lightly rubbing at a temple. Of course, right?
We'll figure out the hunters once this spiral is dealt with.
If those paw prints in the Umbra, any indication, we may well deal with them with the spirals, right?
Well, then we're going to need every advantage we're going to get, aren't we?
We'll teach the cubs to make armor talons.
Like I said, prepare them for war. All of them.
Yes, right.
You reach over and just give her cheek a faint stroke. Very soft and very tender.
She has not gotten tense, but gotten quieter and gotten more subdued as more and more things are piled on that need doing, need doing, need doing. But that at least seems to pull her out of it a bit. The expression softens considerably.
Don't look so lost, 10 point.
Not lost, Raya.
And he's
There's
gonna
just approximately 5 trails to follow and time enough to follow one.
roll something. 3 successes on the charisma empathy as he strokes her cheek again. We'll win. And we have faith. They're already scared of us. We just have to remind them. Perhaps Matcha can fill us with pride once again.
Perhaps she can.
You'll give her that, that big charismatic smile that he does.
And yeah, she finally loosens up some, relaxes a bit, gets a bit softer looking as opposed to that little knit brow of concentrating, trying to recall all of the things that she's been told must be done. And she'll even like edge over until she's sitting kind of bumped side to side with him.
Now go on. I want to be here on my own for a while. You give her a gentle smile.
Her lips just kind of roll in for a moment, gives a quiet nod, and just from that point right alongside him, goes to hoist herself up.
She'll feel his hands run up along her hair as she's moving, very softly kind of rubbing the back of her temple before she like fully glides up.
It seems to smooth whatever idle thought has strayed across.
I'll be home soon. I just want some time to myself. And you give her a very reassuring smile.
Yes, of course, Raya.
Why don't you stay up and we'll watch some movies together. Just the two of us.
Thank you, Raya.
And give her a smile. You stand up and walk over and plant a very delicate kiss on the top of her forehead.
She gives herself away pretty readily. As it gets that close, she'll reach out and hug around him because there's height difference enough that he could probably do it from just a full stand. So he at least briefly gets wrapped up in a hug. Probably one she needs more than he does.
You just gently let her squeeze and rubs her back very lightly. Seems very affectionate.
I'll have it done. All of it.
I know you will. I have faith in you. Even if you don't have it in yourself.
There's a moment there. Not a very well defined one, but there's a moment. So she brightens the slightest bit. There's a touch of a smile at the corner of the lips. I'll set to it then. Enjoy
Go
your
on.
time.
You just nod, smiling.
There'll be a last, like, kind of. She'll turn to go, but will brush the hand along him as she does so, not just, dropping her arms and stepping away. Nah, she leaves at least one up and around him as she turns to go, so it kind of slides along, prolonging the physical contact, really.
10 point.
Yes, right.
Look nice today. You should wear your hair like that more often. Is he walking to sit back down?
Damn it. She is reset to kind of surprisingly happy. Then, yeah, gets a much easier, much more open, and just kind of briefly almost giddy little smile. The compliment. You can probably feel the effect even. Just an idle flush of warmth in the link. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, he sits back down. You just give her a smile and sits back down and seems to be running his hands along the water.
She kind of nods to herself, trying to, organize what needs to come first, second, third, and casts about for a second and picks a direction. Goes ahead and starts off. Hell, he'll even catch her pulling her phone out of her bag as she goes, flicking through it inexpertly, struggling, but nonetheless, setting quickly to task.
Yeah.
So with that, I think we can say thank you, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. We'll see you next time on the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.